SAO is the best anime.
Silence!
Sword Art Online is the mind killer. It's a painfully shallow, cringe fest of an anime that can't hold a candle to the masterpiece that is Dune. It's unbelievable that anyone would waste time on Sword Art Online when Dune exists. Sword Art Online is a joke. Empty, lazy, and stuffed with filler that just drags on and on. If people are choosing Sword Art Online over Dune, then standards have seriously hit rock bottom. The Dune popcorn bucket alone has more depth and quality than everything in Sword Art Online combined. Dune offers an incredible world, with real stakes and unforgettable scenes, while Sword Art Online is just a hollow mess that doesn't deserve a second of your time. Watching Sword Art Online is like getting lost in the desert with no hope of spice, just dry, lifeless content as far as the eye can see. Dune is epic sci-fi done right. Sword Art Online is an insult to the genre. This is only the beginning, as Dune promises. But if you're watching Sword Art Online, it's just the beginning of wasting hours on pure nonsense. Here's why Dune crushes Sword Art Online in every possible way.
Dune is an epic science fiction movie directed by Denis Villeneuve. It's based on Frank Herbert's 1965 novel of the same name, and it'll be the first film in a two-part adaptation. In this video, I'll break it down and explain everything you need to know about the movie. Let's get started. The trailer starts off with a shot of Timothée Chalamet's character Paul Atreides. He's the son of Duke Leto Atreides and Lady Jessica. Paul is the heir of House Atreides, which is an aristocratic family that rules over the planet Caladan. He's supposed to be 15 years old in the Dune book, but it looks like he'll be a bit older in the movie. Next up, we see Zendaya's character Chani. She's Paul's main love interest in the movie. Chani is a young Freeman woman. The Freemen live on the desert planet Arrakis, which is the only known source of the spice melange. Chani's eyes are blue, which means that she's been using melange. Extensive use of the spice will tint the user's iris a dark shade of blue. You can see some fish and wave carvings on the wooden headboard of Paul's bed. This is a direct reference to a paragraph from the Dune book. Paul's attention went to the carved headboard of his bed, a false headboard attached to the wall and concealing the controls for this room's functions. A leaping fish had been shaped on the wood with thick brown waves beneath it. He knew that if he pushed the fish's one visible eye, that would turn on the room's dispenser lamps. One of the waves, when twisted, controlled ventilation. Another changed the temperature. The test administered by Charlotte Rampling's character guides Helen Mohiam is called the Gom-Jabbar test of humanity. The point of this test is to determine whether or not a person's awareness is stronger than their instincts. Paul asks, "What's in the box?"
What's in the box?
This may or may not be an intentional reference to what Brad Pitt's character said in the 1995 movie Seven.
What's in the box?
Afterwards, there's a scene of Paul training with Josh Brolin's character Gurney Halleck, who's one of Paul's mentors and the weapons master of House Atreides. Gurney is also one of Duke Leto Atreides' chief officers. The hand devices that the characters are using can generate personal energy shields to protect the fighters. Only slower moving objects like handheld knives can penetrate these shields. There's a shot of Oscar Isaac's character Duke Leto Atreides touching a gravestone or memorial of some sort. As mentioned before, Leto is the father of Paul. He's in charge of moving his family from Caladan to Arrakis. Additionally, we get a quick glimpse of what the planet of Caladan looks like. Caladan is a lush oceanic world that was home to House Atreides for 26 generations. In real life, all the Caladan scenes were filmed in Norway on the Statlandet Peninsula. We see Rebecca Ferguson's character Lady Jessica, Paul's mother. She's the Bene Gesserit concubine to Duke Leto Atreides. The guy with the umbrella walking behind Paul here is Stephen McKinley Henderson's character Thufir Hawat. He's a Mentat who's loyal to House Atreides. The Mentats are pretty much human computers. Then this scene shows the entire House Atreides moving to Arrakis. These ships here kind of look like the Jawa sandcrawlers from the Star Wars franchise. That's definitely very fitting since Dune was a major inspiration for Star Wars, so it's come full circle now. There's a shot of Jason Momoa's character Duncan Idaho, another one of Paul's mentors. He's the swordmaster of House Atreides, and a skilled hand-to-hand fighter. Jason Momoa has described Duncan Idaho as a sort of Han Solo-esque character. After this, there's a quick scene of Javier Bardem's character Stilgar. He's the leader of the Sietch Tabr, which is a Freeman community on Arrakis. This massive army is akin to something you would see in a Star Wars movie, which again makes sense since Dune inspired Star Wars. Here we see Dave Bautista's character Glasu Raban. He's the nephew of Stellan Skarsgård character Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, which we see in the following shot. He's the main villain of the film, and a sworn enemy to Leto. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen is so overweight and obese that he needs anti-gravity devices to support his weight. The trees that are burning here are palm trees. Considering there's not a lot of water on the planet Arrakis, it means that they must belong to a very wealthy and high-class family. Chang Chen's character Dr. Wellington Yue makes a quick appearance. He's a highly trained physician and Sulk doctor. Later there's an army. I'm pretty sure that these are the Sardaukar, which is an elite military force of the Padishah Emperor. There are a few quick war shots, which are probably part of the battle between House Atreides and House Harkonnen. The ships here are ornithopters. They're the most common small transport vessels in the Imperium. The outfits the characters are wearing are called still suits. They're full-body suits that are designed to preserve the body's moisture. The still suits have many layers that can absorb the body's moisture, and then filter it into drinkable water. The wearer can drink the water from a tube that's attached to their neck. As long as the still suit is intact and kept in working order, the wearer can survive for weeks in the desert. Here's something interesting. Sharon Duncan Brewster's character Dr. Liette Kynes, Chani's mother. In the Dune novel, Dr. Liette Kynes was a man, but this was changed for the movie. Director Denis Villeneuve wanted to capture the essence of the character, but felt that it wasn't necessary to remain consistent with the other aspects, so that's why he opted for this change. And here we see the spice. As stated before, it's also known as melange. In the Dune franchise, melange is the most valuable commodity in the entire universe. It can extend the user's lifespan, give them greater vitality, and heighten their awareness. Furthermore, melange is capable of unlocking prescience in some people, which makes interstellar travel possible. The downside is that melange is very addictive, and withdrawal is fatal. There's a voiceover from Paul and he says, "I must not fear, fear is the mind killer.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer."
This is known as the Litany Against Fear. It's based on a line from William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. A coward dies 1,000 times before his death, but the valiant taste of death but once. It seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. Finally, the trailer ends with a scene of a sandworm. They're huge worm-like creatures that live on Arrakis. The sandworms are inspired by dragons from European mythology, specifically the ones that guard treasure. The sandworms will attack anyone who tries to harvest the spice. Moreover, the larvae of the sandworms are what produce melange in the first place. There seems to be an eclipse behind the Dune logo. This is quite fitting because the song used in the trailer is a cover of Pink Floyd's Eclipse. Pink Floyd was going to provide the soundtrack for Alejandro Jodorowsky's failed Dune movie back in the 1970s. While we saw a bunch of different characters in the trailer, one notable missing person is David Dastmalchian, who will play Peter D. Vries. He is also a Mentat, who's loyal to Harkonnen. David Dastmalchian has previously collaborated with Denis Villeneuve on Prisoners and Blade Runner 2049. At the end it says only in theaters, instead of giving an exact release date. Dune is scheduled to come out on December 18th, 2020, but I'm predicting that it's going to be moved, so that's why Warner Brothers didn't put an actual date, similar to what happened in the Tenet and Wonder Woman 1984 trailers. So this is not the first adaptation for the Dune novel. There was also a film made in 1984 directed by David Lynch, and a miniseries on the Sci-Fi Channel in 2000. A new Dune movie has been in development since 2008. Paramount Pictures originally had the rights, and they wanted Peter Berg to direct. However, the project was abandoned in March 2011 because Paramount Pictures couldn't come to any key agreements. Then in November 2016, Legendary Pictures announced that they had acquired the rights for Dune. In February 2017, it was confirmed by Brian Herbert, son of Dune author Frank Herbert, that Denis Villeneuve was hired to direct a new Dune movie. Denis Villeneuve said that it was always a long-standing dream of his to adapt Dune. Additionally, Denis Villeneuve explained that his goal was to get a two-part film out of Dune. He even told the studios that he wouldn't direct the movie unless it was going to be a two-parter, because Dune was too complex for one single movie to capture. Additionally, there's a prequel spin-off series to Dune already in development by Legendary Television. It's called Dune: The Sisterhood, and will be made for Warner Media streaming service HBO Max. The series will focus on the Bene Gesserit. Denis Villeneuve will direct the pilot episode. Dune: The Sisterhood will begin filming in Budapest and Jordan at the beginning of November 2020. And that's it for this breakdown. The main sources I used for this video are Wikipedia, as well as the Dune fandom wiki. Did you notice any more details that weren't mentioned in this video? If so, be sure to tell me in the comments below. Also, let me know how excited you are for Dune. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload.
As you can see, Dune is fantastic. It's the kind of movie you just have to see. Movies like this don't come around often, with epic storytelling, jaw-dropping visuals, and characters that actually make you care. Dune is powerful and unforgettable, a true masterpiece that raises the bar for sci-fi. Then there's Sword Art Online, a complete dumpster fire from start to finish. Watching SAO is like willingly stepping into a void of wasted time and empty storytelling. It's packed with flat, lifeless characters and a plot so full of holes that it's almost laughable. It's a show that's got nothing to offer but disappointment. If you're in the mood for some other desert adventures, do yourself a favor. Skip Sword Art Online completely and check out some movies that actually know how to use a desert setting.
The characters learn that Ra is actually an alien who escaped from a dying world to look for a way to extend his own life. Ra came to Earth during ancient times to possess someone's body. This isn't accurate to mythology. Aliens aren't a feature in Egyptian mythology. Ra is a major deity who represents the sun in creation. He isn't an alien or someone who came to Earth from another world. According to some creation myths, Ra emerged from the chaotic waters of Dune at the beginning of time. In these stories, he's a self-created god who arose from the primeval waters, symbolizing the start of creation. Some deities are considered considered to have preceded Ra. For example, Atum is one of the most notable gods, who is said to have preceded Ra. Ra's guards Anubis and Horus are actually just humanoids wearing armor. In mythology, Anubis and Horus aren't humanoids. They're typically shown with actual animal heads, rather than as purely humanoid figures. Horus is depicted as a falcon-headed man, which symbolizes his role as the god of the sky, kingship, and protection. He's also known for his conflict with Set, which has broader implications for maintaining balance and order. In mythology, Anubis and Horus aren't Ra's guards. Horus is often considered the grandson of Ra. Furthermore, in some early myths, Anubis is the son of Ra. Mythology can be fluid, with different traditions and localities having their own versions of the gods' relationships. Ra has the appearance of a young boy. In mythology, Ra is typically represented as an adult male, with a solar disk above his head, and with the head of a falcon, which signifies his association with the sun in the sky. Ra's outfit in the movie is a reference to mythology, though it's adapted and stylized for the film's science fiction narrative. Ra has glowing eyes. In mythology, Ra doesn't have glowing eyes. Ra's glowing eyes in the movie were added in post-production. Because test audiences felt that he didn't look alien enough, this feature was carried over to Stargate SG-1. Ra plans to send the bomb back to the humans world to destroy civilization. In mythology, Ra doesn't seek to destroy civilization. Instead, Ra's role is to maintain cosmic order, ensure the continuation of life, and uphold the stability of the world. However, there is a mythological story where Ra becomes displeased with humanity. According to this myth, as people grew more rebellious and disrespectful towards the gods, Ra decided to send a destructive force to punish them. In one version of the myth, Ra sends the goddess Sekhmet, who has the head of a lioness, to unleash a plague upon humanity as a form of divine retribution. In this story, Ra's intention isn't to destroy civilization, but to restore order and discipline among humans. When the situation becomes too severe, Ra stops Sekhmet. This myth highlights the balance between divine justice and mercy rather than an intent to obliterate human civilization. The characters teleport the bomb to Ra's ship, resulting in his death when it detonates. However, in mythology, Ra doesn't die in the usual way. Instead, he goes through a symbolic process of death and rebirth, which is a key part of his role as the sun god. During the day, Ra sails across the sky in his solar boat, bringing light and life. At sunset, he descends into the underworld, called the Duat, where he faces challenges. Throughout the night, Ra undergoes a kind of symbolic death, and then is reborn with the sunrise. This cycle of death and renewal highlights Ra's powers and his role in keeping the universe in balance. So rather than Ra dying in the conventional sense, this daily journey reflects the ongoing cycle of life and cosmic order. If you enjoyed this comparison, hit that like button and subscribe for more. What did you think of Stargate? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments. I personally felt that Stargate is a captivating film that skillfully blends science fiction with ancient mythology. I was particularly impressed by how the movie drew inspiration from Egyptian mythology to craft an entirely original story. The integration of ancient symbols, gods, and legends was both creative and engaging. If you're a fan of mythology and science fiction, then Stargate is definitely worth a watch. What movie or show should we dive into next and compare with its mythological roots? Drop your suggestions below and stay tuned for more mythology related videos. Brutal. Brutal. That's unsettling. Getting promoted. Brutal. Savage. Savage. Honesty. Honesty. Bold move. Savage. Knowing your history. Honesty. Optimism. I guess that's a compliment. Comforting your friend. Savage. Compliments. Learning to share. Brutal. So it's Voldemort? Combining forces. Very heartfelt moment here between Rick and Evelyn. Dreaming about dead guys. Lampshading. Brutal. Rick is awesome. Some pretty cool 1999 special effects. Rick is awesome. That's creepy. That's nasty. You've cat to be kitten me right meow. You heard her. Patience is a virtue. Savage. Gratitude. That's what she said. Some pretty cool 1999 special effects. Compliments. Paying respect to your friend that just died. Did Rick just use Ardith's face to light a match? Rick is awesome. Staying back to protect your friends. Rick is awesome. I guess Rick just needed a hand. Optimism. Rick is awesome. Rick is awesome. Brutal. I guess Emotep is unarmed now.
Your soul is mine.
Brutal. That's creepy. Benny finally got his comeuppance. Optimism. Awesome text for the end credits. Some pretty cool special effects. Savage. Nice reference to the previous movie. That's unsettling. Rick is awesome. Alex is awesome. Nice reaction. Even the characters in the movie can recognize movie cliches. Some pretty cool special effects. Saving your wife in the nick of time. Did this mummy just become Sabretooth? Saving your buddy in the nick of time. I guess that mummy didn't see that coming. Riding a bus for the first first time. That's a cool transition. That's nasty. 1001 Nights reference. Compliments. Savage. I guess Imhotep is also Kirby, doing whatever it takes to get your little boy back. Honesty. Some nice shots of the Egyptian pyramids. Compliments. Brutal. Saving others in the nick of time. Savage. That's a pretty cool transition. Another cool transition. Savage. Gratitude. Making your sister proud. Saving others in the nick of time. Saving others in the nick of time. Saving others in the nick of time. Brutal. Optimism. I guess he's unarmed now. Some pretty cool special effects. Impressive fight scene here between Rick and Imhotep. Saving others in the nick of time. Brutal. Saving your husband. I kind of feel bad for Imhotep. Only a little bit though. He did kill a bunch of people. She definitely deserves it. Saving your buddies in the nick of time. Optimism. Gratitude. Some pretty cool shots of the Great Wall of China. Brutal. So the Dragon Emperor became the Human Torch? Ouch. So the previous movies are books in this universe? That's neat. Well, Evelyn was portrayed by Rachel Weisz in the previous two movies. You snooze, you lose. Also, Outdoor Life is a real magazine. Saving your buddy in the nick of time. This is very similar to the Terracotta Army in real life. Brutal. Running into an old friend. Very genuine moment here between Rick and Evelyn. That's pretty cool.
Fire style! Fireball jutsu!
Brutal. Did he just kick away that rocket? That's awesome. Did he just throw his face at Alex? That's awesome. Honesty. Honesty. Very heartfelt moment here between Jonathan and Geraldine. Setting Geraldine free. Brutal. Those Yetis look pretty cool. Saving your son in the nick of time and self-sacrifice. Bringing your buddy back to life. Gratitude. Some nice visuals. Very genuine moment here between Alex and Lynn. Very heartfelt moment here between Rick and Alex. Sacrificing your immortality. Rescuing your girlfriend. Jet Li is awesome. Impressive fight scene here between Ziyun and the Dragon Emperor. Some nice special effects. Alex is pretty good at speaking Chinese. Brutal. Awesome fight scene here between Rick and the Dragon Emperor. Savage. Brutal. Compliments. Fitting end credits. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.